Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Thursday, October the 2nd, 2025. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the senior minister of the Sunshine Cathedral. With me today are Bishop Robert Griffin, my husband, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, not my husband, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. We are the Queer God Squad. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us.
Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world.
In 2025, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots magazine, with Queer News Tonight sharing over 11,000 stories and 11 million views so far in 2020. So far. Can we do that again? Sorry.
Not me having a stroke.
Just keep going.
No,
If you just keep going, then they'll edit out. So just keep going.
Gosh. In 2025, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots magazine, with Queer News Tonight sharing over 11,000 stories and 11 million views so far. In 2026, we will produce Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride in Wilton Manors, and Pride Fest Caribbean Festival.
We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
this is the Sunshine Cathedral Perspective. The Queer God Squad queers Mary, a mother beyond tradition.
Reinterpreting the Virgin Mary through a queer lens reveals a figure who subverts traditional gender roles and family structures. Her story challenges the heteronormative assumption that motherhood is defined by a conventional family unit with a husband and father. The miraculous nature of the virgin birth bypassed patriarchal norms, establishing her divine purpose and identity independently of a male partner. Of course, virginal conception is more myth than miracle, but nevertheless, this story dared to imagine an alternative way of being a family.
Mary's relationship with Jesus is not that of a typical nuclear family, but a unique bond rooted in spiritual calling. She raises her child in a way that he believes he can heal the hurting, challenge injustice, and even speak for God. What an affirming, supportive, encouraging mother she must have been. The sort of mother every queer child deserves. For that matter, every child deserves.
Mary's life as a mother defies societal expectations. In this hermeneutic, Mary becomes a symbol of divine love that transcends and redefines human relationships. She is a powerful example of an identity defined by faith and radical courage, not by her role within a man's household. Her story offers a framework for understanding divine grace and family outside of rigid, traditional binaries.
Mary is a queer figure. In any case, you have this woman, a girl, probably 12, maybe 14, who is pregnant, but not in the traditional way. Of course, miraculous birth stories are common in antiquity, even in the Bible. You know, how many barren and old ladies are getting pregnant all over the place in the Bible? There's this God movement, and then a miracle happens. So it's not unique. Alexander the Great had a miraculous birth, and Buddha had a miraculous birth, and so Lao Tzu. It's what happened. So, but it's still not common. I mean, you know, say it happened to 100 heroes. That's still 100 out of the planet. You know what I mean? So it's uncommon. It's queer. It's different. And if you were to get to what it might actually have been, of course, virgins don't get, no. But what if, and this was actually surmised in the first century, what if she had been raped, maybe by a Roman soldier? This is a tragedy. This is heartbreaking. This is violence. This is cruel. And from that, something positive is resurrected. Out of that, someone gets a family, someone gets a name. In fact, the Bible even says Joseph gave him his name. Joseph names him, gives him a name, like the father does. So So he gets a name, he gets a family, he grows up believing in himself. People think he's a Messiah figure, thinks that he at least is a prophet, maybe the long-awaited Messiah. All of this from a child that was conceived in violence and terror. That's the miracle. Mm-hmm. That's the miracle, is that this victim raises an amazing child, that she is forever venerated ever since. And in the Magnificat, she says, people will call me blessed, forever will call me blessed. Well, actually, that's true. That's true, isn't it? So but that's a queer story. You know, that how many of us had a rough beginning, most, but we succeeded in careers or relationships or families, or even we had a long rough patch, but still there's reformation, there's redemption, there's second chances. And so I love the Mary story. It's useless to me if a one and done deal, a girl got knocked up and didn't even have the joy of lovemaking. That's not a great story to me. That's the terrible story. But and even if she'd had an affair, even if, whatever, this young girl has an unexpected pregnancy, it could ruin her life. And somehow they piece it together. They form a family, not like most people do. This guy just says, yeah, I'll be the dad, even though he knows he's not. They form a family, they're whole, and this guy grows up to be a hero. Mm-hmm. See, I love that story. Mm-hmm. Now I love that story. I can't tell it enough. So, but that's a queer story of someone who is misunderstood, who comes from a difficult thing, who could be judged harshly for their circumstances, and they come out on top. I love that story.
And it also sounds like a queer family. Mm-hmm. I mean, a woman has a baby. There's a man who wants to be a father. Mm-hmm. And so they come together and they form this family. That's a very queer family. But one thing about Mary that's always kind of caught my eye or caught my ear is the Magnificat. Mm-hmm. And that she, my God is with me, will bring down the oppressors, will be with those who are in the margins. And to pronounce something like that as a young woman, I mean, what a strong, strong person she must have been.
In my mind, when I do this sort of fantasy thing about Mary, if there is such a thing as a place of eternal rest, and when I get there, I want to sit next to Mary and say, "Girl, what happened?
Yeah.
Can you tell me the story now? What happened?" Because we've heard all the over 2,000 years, we've heard about you. Over 2,000 years, we've heard about your story and the birth, and just can you fill in the gaps of what we don't know? Yeah. It's like, I want to know what we don't know, what history missed out. But just to be able to say, it's an incredible story, it's a queer story, it is about family. At some point you don't hear about the dad any longer, and you just continue to hear about Mary and Jesus. And as a kid growing up, Catholicism was not highly rated in the South because they worship statues. Nobody, that's evil to worship statues.
Meanwhile, y'all were worshiping a book. Next.
And then that's that. Howsoever, as you grow older, you realize that different things mean different things to you. And as I grew older, it was one of those lenses that kind of fell off my eye. This is a passionate story about life, about liberation, about overcoming. And then when you can compare that story to your lived experience, you get strength from that. This is a moment of courage. A single mother raising a child in 2000 in the South, raising a child by herself because she may or may not know who the dad is, or even if she does, the dad is no longer present. This is a powerful story across many levels of systems.
Yes.
But the most powerful one is the one that we have today, that this is a story of liberation, of overcoming, of empowerment.
And skip to the crucifixion. She's there. Other people are running for their lives. She will not leave her child. And then skip ahead to Pentecost. This child who was terrorized, had an unwanted pregnancy, could have been ostracized from her family, just life ruined, is now leading the church in the upper room at Pentecost. She's in the big middle. Look at almost any painting. She's in the middle. She's leading the early church as sort of an interim pastor. That's the story. That's the trajectory. I was a scared, young, terrorized, victimized teen. I'm now the Messiah's mother running the church in Jerusalem for a minute.
These are stories. These are stories, and what I enjoy is that in the Bible, too many times women remain unnamed. And here you have this, again, maybe teenager who's been impregnated and gives birth to this child who goes on to be a leader. I just enjoy knowing that we acknowledge Mary, that we see her, and that we have over the centuries, over millennia, have begun to understand what a powerful role she truly played in the forming of a following, of a church.
And now I think the Moses story is mostly fictional, but she mirrors a character from that story. Miriam means Mary,
yes.
Which means bitter, by the way. So like this bitterness, of difficult. Miriam rescues Moses, putting him in the basket, getting him into a safe place. Mary has Jesus, raises him, is with him till the end. Miriam sings a song at the camp. Here's Mary singing the Magnificat, my soul magnify the Lord. There's a lot of literary license going on, obviously, but it does show you that they're tying her with with another hero from the tradition, that she's in this lineage. That's Midrash, where you tell the story over and over again. But so here's Miriam singing a song of liberation again, and but this time it's our lady with our guy, and so yeah, Mary's fascinating queer character. Don't give up on her. And that's today with the Queer God Squad.
Before we go, I want to invite you to check out our performing arts series. Yes, the season is upon us. Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts has a great acts lined up for 2025 and 2026 season. Here is a taste of what is coming up.
Golden Ghouls. Picture it. Halloween 2025 will be on our stage one night only, October 25th.
Then on November 7th, we welcome back Miss Coco Peru and Fuck This Shit. If this show is like her other tour de force, there will be storytelling, laughs, singing, and a moral tie up for the evening. Or maybe this is one entirely different. You'll have to come to the show to know for sure. But you already know it's going to be one of the best nights of the comedy and drag artistry you will ever have enjoyed all year.
December 7th brings Matthew Darren's annual holiday Fantasia, always amazing, and this year it will again be co-hosted by Varla Jean Merman.
And in 2026, there are already some great shows lined up, such as selections from Pearly, a musical based on the play Pearly Victorious by Ossie Davis on February the 7th. For more information about these shows and others, and to secure your tickets, go to sunshinecathedral.org/arts.
Please like and share this episode on your social media and look for Sunshine Cathedral on Facebook or Instagram.
You can also like our individual pages on Facebook. Remember to visit sunshinecathedral.org frequently. There you will find Bishop Talk, where Bishop Durrell and I interview queer religious leaders, activists, and scholars.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we're all in this together, and also remember that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Bye.